Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. The question that I intend to ask tonight is, are we a matured democracy? Is the government working for us like the way a government should be working in a democracy? I am not talking about a government. I am talking about government starting 1950 till date. Has our government worked for us? Now that's the question I want to ask tonight. Let's get right into the show and discuss it in detail. For starters, let me say that each and every government that has come into this country, that was made in this country, has tried to do a lot of good for the country. So, with this program, I am not disrespecting any government, be it Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, be it Indira Gandhi, be it Lal Bahadur Shastri, be it every government, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Narendra Modi, every government has done or is trying to do something good for the country. Let's be very clear about that. But the point is this good enough? The point is, how do we make this better? How do we make our governments work for us more efficiently? That's the question I wanted to discuss tonight. Now, in management they say, with authority comes responsibility. So you are giving authority to a particular individual, a particular group, a particular political party, a particular government, then with that authority, you should also give them responsibility. Responsibility means accountability. You get authority in this country, in a republic, because the people elect you. The people elect you not because your father was, or it should not be, in fact, not because, it should not be because your father was a prime minister, or your grandfather was a prime minister, your great-grandfather was a prime minister, so you are also going to be a prime minister. The country should not, one should not be elected because of that particular reason. You should be elected because you can serve the people better. That is democracy, that is republic. Now, if you are supposed to serve the people, then when you get the authority, when you get all your central agencies and all agencies in your command, it should be used to serve the people better. Now, how do you ensure that it is used to serve the people better? We ensure it by asking for accountability. We ensure it when we call for accountability from people who are in power, from people who are in authority, from people who occupy constitutional position. For instance, when you are working for corporates, when you're working for a private company, in fact, when you're working even for government companies, there's something called a target that you have. You work on a target. There's an X amount of sales that you have to achieve. There is X amount of revenue that you have to achieve. There is X amount of infrastructure that you have to build. There is a Y amount of tax that you have to collect. So people work on target, and if you don't get that target, it shows in your evaluation. And when it shows in your evaluation, your next year's promotion, your next year's increment, they are affected. So an authorized person is also accountable, and that accountability decides his future for him. So you deliver, you are rewarded. If you don't deliver, you are not rewarded. Very clear? Fair enough. This particular method builds successful corporations, successful companies. Now the question is, we do that with our companies, we do that with our corporation, but do we do that with our country? And that is my topic for tonight. Does the government has accountability? Now I will refer to immediate examples. Then we will go slightly backwards. Monday, the Supreme Court said that demonetization was correct. The Supreme Court said, listen, you know what? The government had spoken to RBI. They were in touch with RBI for 6 months. So, they followed all the procedures. They ticked all the boxes. So, they were right. But did the court or did the country ask the government, what about the people who died? The court said they are martyrs because for any good thing, you have to have few martyrs. Is that so? Ask that family member who lost somebody important to them in their family. Ask them whether are they martyrs for demonetization. The court pondered about the procedure, which is fine, which is what the petition was, so I agree. But the point is, who is going to ask the government about their responsibility, about what happened with demonetization? How did it help the country? Who is going to ask the government? Yesterday, Tuesday, there was another verdict in the court, in the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court said that, the petition was that Azam Khan of Samajwadi Party went out and said that, there was a rape in Bulandshahr, and, that rape was because of some political conspiracy. Okay. The point is, what he was trying to do is save his government. He was trying to say that it's not my mistake, it's a political conspiracy. Now, political conspiracy? Now, who is responsible for that statement? The government is not responsible for the statement the court said. It is an individual statement. The government is not responsible. A minister, a public functionary, they are not responsible for the statements that they make. Some other MP in Madhya Pradesh said that, every Hindu should keep weapons in his or her house. Who is responsible for these statements? The political party says. The court says no, political party is not responsible. The court says that the government is not responsible. Finally, if something good happens, then it is the government's picture all over the state, all over the country. But something bad happens, no, it's not government's responsibility. Forget the court. Let's keep the court aside for a minute. Even we people of this country, have never held our government responsible. 1975, Indira Gandhi announced emergency. 1977, she was back in power. That was how the country reacted to emergency, which was, of course, bad for this country. So many examples. 1990 to 2005, Lalu Prasad Yadav created Bihar into a jungle raj. It is true, it is evident. 2022, his son is back in the government. Bihar forgot about it. India forgot about it. 2008, I know, in my city, Mumbai, 2611, badly managed. Not just by the state, in fact, more than the state, the center had badly managed it because NSG came here 24 hours after the terrorist landed. Terrorists from Pakistan possibly came here faster than the NSG came from Delhi because possibly they didn't have flights, they didn't have aircraft, I don't know what. What was more important than hundreds of lives that were lost in Mumbai? NSG came the next day. Definitely governmental error. 2009, the same government, UPA, was brought back to power. Nobody questioned them. Both in center and in state. State also, Congress and CP came back to power. The same political party that was handling 2008. My question is that we have stopped questioning our government. We have stopped believing that the government is there to serve us. Like Vinod Duaji used to constantly say that they are a public servant. They are service providers. We are the clients. We are supposed to get service from them. But somewhere down the line, the mentality that we have as a society, and I'm not going to blame just Supreme Court, or as a society, the mentality that we have is we are subservient, and that comes very naturally to us. Resilience comes very naturally to us. Deluge in the state, water getting flooded because of unkept pipelines, unkept drainages. People lose their life. That same government comes back in that particular municipality. So many examples that one can give. The point that I want to make through this editorial is that do not expect good governance, do not expect fair governance, do not expect efficient governance till such time that you learn to get service out of your government. A bad manager will have a bad team, and that bad team will be an inefficient team. You are the manager of your country. You appoint your team by giving your votes. You appoint your team by asking questions. You appoint your team by understanding what your team is doing, what your team is delivering, whether your team is delivering or not delivering. You need to understand that. If you sleep in the office and you let your team deliver what they want and do what they want, finally, what is going to happen is you are going to get an inefficient team that will take you for granted. And that's exactly what has happened with Indian politics, with Indian political administration. That's exactly what has happened. They take you for granted. They take you for granted because you don't question them, you don't penalize them. So big deal. I do whatever wrong, next time I'm bound to come back and make my government. Till such time that we don't change, our country will not change. Till such time that our country will not change, our administration, our political, everything will remain the same. So, constantly we can come and blame the government and say the government is not doing that, the government is not doing the other things. All this, we will do it for the next 100 years. I will get my viewership, thus I will get my whatever little money that I get from social media. You will come and you will also see and say, yeah, correct, what he's saying is right, government has not done this, government has not done that. But none of this is going to change. Be rest assured on that. And that's the point I'm trying to make. If it has to change, we have to change. And only if we change will the government change, will the administration change, will the governance change. Not the government change, but the governance changes. So that's the point I wanted to make today. Like I always say, please pick up a package. If you can, it'll help us. Please contribute to running this show for us. Please contribute for us to run this show for you. And also, please share this content, share our content, subscribe to our content, and comment on our content so that more and more people can see us. Till I see you next time. Namaskar.
Hi, you have been watching our videos on HW News English. But why be content with content in just one language when you can choose from both? Yes, from 1st of January, we are bringing together the repository of our ground reports, interviews and analysis under the umbrella of HW News Network. So, while HW News English will stay as it is, you will now be able to watch our Hindi and English reportage together. So don't forget to watch HW News Network from 1st of January.
To know about the latest updates on our new news app, go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.